Hey guys, how's everybody doing? It's been a while since I did one of these videos. Every month I usually like to show off what movies I bought over the month, and I have not done one of these since June, I believe. So these are all Blu-rays I picked up over the month of June, and no, not June, July and August. So I have a few, and I feel there's enough to talk about in a video. So, starting off with The Last of Us. This is probably my favorite TV show of the year. This is my favorite video game adaptation. I was over the moon of excitement for this show. I was very pleased. I did a whole episode review series every week. There was a new episode. I highly enjoyed this series. It's an absolute masterpiece, I could say. I do agree there should have been more infected. Cannot wait for season 2. Hopefully we'll get it soon whenever this writer's strike will ever end. Come on, studios. We're all waiting. Fast X. I have not reviewed Fast 9. If you remember back in May, I started my Fast and Furious review series. Fast and Furious 9, I did not review, and I did not check this out in theaters. Personal stuff was happening at the time. I picked it up on Blu-ray. I imagine I'll watch it. I'll be watching it. My stepsister is over there wondering what I'm doing. So if you hear that, that's my stepsister. Yeah, Fast X. I imagine I'll watch it one day, but I have no idea when I'll be watching it. She keeps forgetting. She keeps. Oh, okay. She keeps calling my name. Why are you eating a spoon? Sorry for that brief moment. Alright, continuing on. Corpse Bride. I don't know why I have not owned this yet. I went to Target for back to school shopping because it's very easy slip off sleeve. I'm baffled that I cannot find this movie anywhere. This movie is like $5 at Target. This is one of my favorite movies ever. One of my favorite animated movies, one of my favorite Tim Burton movies, one of my favorite Johnny Depp performances ever. I adore this movie, and it's barely that long. It's only an hour and like 20 minutes. It's a very good movie. This movie scared me. When I was younger, you can definitely tell there's Tim Burton aspects in this film, and you can definitely tell it's a Tim Burton movie. I love Corpse Bride. It's an absolute childhood movie in my mind. It's very underrated, and nobody talks about it, and I feel it's a crime against humanity. Hey, I just reviewed these movies. The Equalizer films. I picked these up with the new one. It actually came with a stupid looking sleeve, actually. I don't like the look of that sleeve, so I took it off. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might throw it away. But yeah, Equalizer 1 and 2. I really like the first movie. It's basically John Wick with Denzel Washington, but I like it. Oh god, light, stop it. But I like the first Equalizer. Equalizer 2, it's alright. I enjoyed it, but I've always liked them. I haven't always liked them, but yeah, those were actually first time watches too. But I enjoyed them. I thought they were pretty fun. Next movie. This was actually a movie I didn't buy. No Hard Feelings. I wanted to watch this movie. My dad and my stepmom, they wanted to watch this movie when it first came out. I never really found a time to go watch it. And then I find out that they bought it and they watched it without me. But I ended up watching it. I thought it was alright. Um, it it's alright. It's pretty predictable. Had a pretty good laughs here and there. It reminded me a lot of like American Pie. The whole movie is about Jennifer Lawrence's character. She needs a car for the summer because her one got taken away, got towed away. She needs a car. These parents say, "Hey, if you sleep with my son, then we'll give you my car." And that premise alone was like, "Oh, that sounds fun." It was alright. It was pretty predictable. I was like, "Oh, this thing's gonna happen." Oh, that ended up happening. Oh, this is gonna happen. That ended up happening. It was alright. You don't fall, Jesus. 1 second. Everything's falling down. Everything's going to hell. Maybe I could have just thrown them on the ground. What am I here? That's a more logical thing to do, right? I believe this movie came out last month. Yeah, last month. I can't remember, but Sisu! I did not know much about this movie. All I knew was that this movie was advertised all around Twitter saying, "Oh, I'll watch a movie as long as the dog doesn't die." I was expecting a thing for when this movie comes out. I was like, "Oh, the dog doesn't die." Oh, but we just said that just so you come to the theater. The dog does die, but it doesn't. Don't worry. This movie is weird. This movie is weird. It reminded me of John Wick. It had the lore of John Wick in it, with like this guy being like a Russian killer or something like that. Um, it's about this movie. The movie is about a guy. He's a coal miner. He mines and finds a shit bunch of gold. The Nazis. This is like after like World War II is ending. The Nazis find out the what's left of the Nazis find out he has gold. They try to steal from him. The first half of this movie is the Nazis trying to get the gold, and then the second half is him trying to get his gold back. It's a fun, passable 90-minute movie. Just a guy fucking up Nazis. Overall, I liked it. It was enjoyable. Now we have some superhero movies to talk about. First off is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. When I first watched this, I thought it was okay. I feel that the hype was really, really up for this one, saying like, oh, somebody's gotta die, someone's gotta die. Nobody fucking dies. I will say there were some pretty sad moments there, but I never found myself crying. I just like looked at it, I was like, okay, that was pretty good, but it was mildly overrated. But I rewatched this movie, and it's actually a really good movie. And I do prefer the first Guardians movie. I will say that. I just love the first Guardians movie. When I first watched it, I was like, oh, I would have done it like this. But now I watch it, I'm like, okay, I see the movie as it is now. And apparently that's the final Guardians movie too. I forgot to mention that. And if that's the final Guardians movie we'll ever get, I'll be happy. I was very pleased. Oh boy. The Flash! This movie was marketed to shit. This movie was hyped up so much. Tom Cruise saying this is the movie that we need. Critics saying that this is the best movie, the best DC movie since The Dark Knight. And Michael Keaton was coming back too. And when this movie first came out, it became one of the biggest box office bombs in history. And when I first watched it, I liked it. I thought it was really good. But when you look at it, the DCEU was never in a good state. So I feel this movie is one of the best ones, but that's also not saying much. But the second watch, I was like, okay, I understand the dislikes about this movie. And I watched it for the third time. I was like, oh, why did I not notice this before? Oh my god! But I enjoyed it. It was fun. But if that's the last DC movie we ever get, it's a good conclusion. Or maybe possibly Blue Beetle is still in the DCU, which I don't like to think. I really want Blue Beetle to be part of the DCU because that was a really good movie. I really liked it. Check that movie out if you haven't seen it. This movie was not originally on my radar until one of my buddies told me to watch it, and that's The Blackening. I picked this up because I kind of forgot this movie came out. I remember seeing posters of this movie. I had no idea what it was about. I just saw posters. I just saw a few ads here and there. And I kind of wanted to watch it, but it didn't play in my theater, so I couldn't watch it. And then I found out it came out on Blu-ray, and my buddy, he's a huge horror fan like I am, and he's like, "Hey, you remember that movie Sick that came out on Peacock this year?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, what about it?" He's like, "Hey, you should check out The Blackening. I think you would really like that one. It's kind of similar to it, and the title's basically the entire movie." I watched it, and for it being a horror comedy, I actually laughed a lot. This movie was pretty funny. You could tell that the people who made this movie are huge horror fans, but I thought it was okay. It's kind of unoriginal, but I wouldn't mind rewatching it. I feel I need to watch this one with my mom. I feel my mom would really like this one because it. I don't want to sound racist, but my mom, I feel she would understand more of the jokes in here because there's a lot of black culture like jokes here, and I was like, I don't understand that. And I've heard a lot of black people on the internet saying that this was one of the funniest movies I ever watched. I was like, I don't understand half the jokes in this movie. But I applaud for you. I'm glad you like this movie, but I just didn't understand half the jokes. Again, I might have to rewatch that. I might have to watch that one with my mom. I feel she would understand more jokes because she hangs out with black people, basically. I don't know if she does, but she acts like one. I actually tried to sound racist, but it's true. And last but not least, I'm so pissed I couldn't get the steelbook of this movie, but fuck it, I still got it. And that is Scream 6. I really wanted the steelbook of this movie. It was so fucking cool looking, but no, my Walmart is a piece of shit place and doesn't like to do cool things. Yeah, apparently the only place I can buy movies is fucking Walmart, and I had to buy this just crappy looking Blu-ray. I wanted the steelbook, but fuck it, I still bought it. Scream 6. This movie I was so fucking hyped for this year. When I've told this stories countless times that I was not excited for Scream 5 when it was first coming out because Wes Craven passed away. He would not be directing the Scream 5 because he sadly passed away. And this movie and Scream 5 was also not written by Kevin Williamson. I was like, oh god, that's not good. But Radio Silence. I found out they were involved. I got more curious, and I ended up really loving Scream 5. That was my second favorite Scream movie. I'll fight you over that. And Scream 6, when I heard this movie was coming out just 2 months after that movie released, I was like, sign me up. And then this movie became marketing that was gonna be in New York City. There was gonna be in Mass. There's Kirby was returning. I was like, yes, writing on the wall. This is the best Scream movie ever. And everybody was saying that this was second best Scream movie, and I was like, oh, that makes my expectations go up higher. And I watched it, I was like, okay, that's second best, but it's still really good. I really like Scream 6. I feel the more I watch, the more I like it, but when you watch it the first time and then a second time, but when you know who the killers are, it's kind of distracting, but I'm very excited for Scream 7. Now I know more about it. Christopher Landon, I have a lot more faith in him now over the recent news. I made a video saying, like, I don't know how I feel about him directing me. Now I know how I feel about him directing. Scream 6, another great Scream sequel. That is another one where I'd recommend. And this movie just shows that the Scream franchise and Evil Dead are the most consistent horror franchise out there. Well, I believe that's it. Is that it? Yeah, that's all the movies I picked up. I had a few that I picked over July and August. A lot of Blu-rays have not been coming out recently. But hopefully September and well, technically this month and November will be better with their Blu-ray releases because they're deciding not to release so much. But that's all the movies I picked up in July and August. I thank you all so much for watching. This is always the video series I love doing. This is like a annual thing I feel I have to do every month, but it's been a while, right? But thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this video, like it. If you loved it, subscribe and hit the bell notification so you will get notified for my latest videos. But of course, until my next video, I'll see you next time.